Hello all you lovely cosmonauts, as always I am Cosmic, and today we're going to be previewing Battlerite, which is essentially a MOBA that is currently in early access but with a little bit of a twist. Now Battlerite is actually more MOBA in my eyes than things like Dota 2 and League of Legends, in the sense that it truly lives up to the name. It is a multiplayer online battle arena in its truest form. There is no lanes, there are no creeps, there's no towers, there is only an arena, players and death. Battlerite takes what is, in my opinion, the best bits out of MOBA games like Dota 2 and League of Legends and puts that into a single, very focused core experience, which is of course fighting other players. So it's essentially about putting teams of 2, teams of 3 up against one another in an arena and seeing who comes out on top at the end of 3 rounds. Battlerite is currently on Steam's early access program with a launch date of around the first quarter of 2017. Now the game is in a fairly late stage of beta and is fairly polished at the current time. However, the developers will be launching the game free to play, as well as expanding the roster of heroes and adding some additional features. So let's get right into the game itself. Now Battlerite is of course a hero-based MOBA, which means that one of the most important factors of a hero-based MOBA is of course the heroes themselves. Now the roster as it currently stands is fairly diverse. You have characters from different factions, north, east, south and west, and each faction has a range of melee and ranged characters. You also have characters who heal, you have characters who do range damage, you have characters that are disablers, you have characters that are tanks, you have characters that are melee damage, and it's more, it's everything that you would expect from a hero-based game you have in Battlerite. Now the way Battlerite works is slightly different to, say, something like League of Legends or Dota 2 in terms of hero progression. So once you start a match in Battlerite, you have the full access of all the abilities available to you. There are no items in this, there are something called Battlerites. Now at the end of each round, depending on how long the game lasts, so for example if your team wins 2 matches and the other team wins 2 matches, that's 4 rounds altogether, and then you're going to have a final round to decide it all. So at the end of each round, at the start of each new round, you will have a Battlerite selection, which is essentially you can choose 3 from 3 Battlerites, and those Battlerites will affect your character's abilities in some way. So it might reduce a cooldown, it might add area damage, something like that. And it's a very simple and effective process. It's very easy to use, it's very easy to understand. Each Battlerite comes from a different category, so you have offense, you have control, you have survivability, and it's a very simple system to easily pick up and use. One thing that I really like about Battlerite is that it goes for simple things that are very focused. It's very focused in its core design. It knows what it wants to be, it knows what it wants to do. It doesn't try and do too much in terms of trying to make it more like something like League of Legends. It's like, we want to be this, and it executes that very, very well. Now once any given match starts, you'll be mounted, because there is a mount system in this game that you can equip the mount and get around the arena fairly quickly. You're also able to use a charge feature. However, if you get attacked on a mount and the attack hits, you will get stunned, so it's a risk and reward kind of deal. Now the combat itself works really, really well and is not something innovative or particularly new in any kind of way. Any player of Dota 2, League of Legends, or any MOBA for that matter will be right at home with the combat here. Stunlock Studios have produced a really core focused game, which is something I really like. The matches are short, you're looking at 2 minutes per round. At the end of those 2 minutes, as it's closing in, the arena closes in, so that if you step outside a certain ring, that your character will start taking damage and die. And it's very fast paced. That's something that I really enjoy about the game. It's not a heavy time commitment just to jump in and play 1 or 2 matches. It's very quick, very fast paced, very focused, and that's something that I feel that it gives the game a massive advantage over a traditional MOBA like Dota 2, in that if you're going to play Dota 2, you could be potentially locked into a match for 45 minutes onwards, and if you're losing, you're still going to be locked into that match for 45 minutes onwards. Whereas in Battlerite, if you have a bad team or your character selection isn't that good, it doesn't really matter, the match will be over fairly shortly. The combat itself, like I said, is fairly straightforward, fairly traditional. It has been executed very well, it feels very fluid and smooth. The character animations work really well, all of the abilities, with the cooldowns seem to be fairly balanced for the time being. There are a couple of characters who I would say are a little overpowered, and especially a couple of team makeups that are a little bit overpowered. The matchmaking system is still a bit of an issue here. The matchmaking system doesn't really take into account what character you're playing at all. For example, I got matched with 2 ranged characters, and I was a ranged character against 2 melee characters and a ranged character, and we got absolutely stomped, and there was no way to stop that because they had the melee advantage and we did not. And I think the matchmaking system does need some definite work to make sure that the matchmaking process is a lot more fair. Something that I have to give Stunlock credit for is the fact that they've created an aesthetic that is really nice and colourful without it being too colourful. Often games like League of Legends, and it's a problem that I had with Overwatch in a sense, is that when you have lots of characters going head to head in a small space, especially when the game's aesthetic is vibrant and colourful, you get a colour mess, and it's difficult to focus, it's difficult to concentrate on what's going on, it's difficult to see who's using what ability, what effects are going on the ground, and that's something that I've never ever struggled with in Battlerite. In Battlerite, everything is clean. It still remains a really unique, nice cartoonish aesthetic with vibrant colours, and everything looks fantastic, but it kind of tones it down when it comes to the spell effects and things like that. It's just got that right balance between having a really nice to look at game and having a experience that isn't going to become a vomit of colour when you are actually in combat. The arenas themselves look really good. The level design is fairly simple, but it works really well. And ultimately, everything from the visuals to the audio in Battlerite is top notch and a really satisfying experience. Outside of combat, you have progression in the form of cosmetic progression, so your character can get new poses for the end of the match screen, you can get new weapon skins, you can get new armor skins, you can get new mounts, and it's a fairly straightforward, unexploitative system that works pretty much in any game regardless of what it is. You earn these cosmetic items by chests. Now you can earn chest rewards from doing quests that play 6 matches in a week, or play a certain faction hero, etc, and it works that it's fairly straightforward. You can also buy gold chests with the in-game currency of gold, and you can also use real world money should you so wish. But other than that, there's no real progression in terms of characters because everything else is in the match, and there's no way to pay to win in this game, which is a nice thing. I have to say, overall, Battlerite has really impressed me thus far. The polish on the game is top notch. The heroes selection is top notch. While the matchmaking system is a bit of an issue thus far, if you get a couple of friends together so you can coordinate, it becomes a much more enjoyable experience. I have to say that while this is launching free to play, it's worth the $15 as is now. I mean, it is. It's a lot of fun. There's no reason why you can't get 20 plus hours out of this if you really enjoy it, if not more, depending on if you want to continue. I like the focus on skill-based gameplay. It's not something that's going to be pay to win. It isn't something that's, a certain build is going to be better than everything else. It's a lot more skill-focused. I love that it's taken what I love about MOBA games and put that into a refined, focused experience. And I think that this game will be really successful. It is a lot of fun and I'm looking forward to full release. So that is my preview of Battlerite. Now I am giving away a copy of the game as well as the legendary molten core mount that you can see in my video. So if you would like to win those, hit the link in the description below. As always, let me know what your thoughts are on the video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share, and I will see you next time.